Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for March 23rd, 2019, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
As you can tell from the title, I watched the GR Raw, which was a stupid decision. Unfortunately, that's not what pissed me off about Geo. No, it's what's sitting in our staff chat at the moment. Well, technically our live chat.
Yeah.
Which is a comment that says, oh, that whole thing about erasing past riders, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore, apparently. Because there's a paradox causing that to not happen anymore. Which you can kindly fuck off about. You don't get to do a thing for 20 plus episodes and then not do the thing anymore and chalk it up to a paradox.
But I mean, sure you can. I mean, it's a Time Rider show, so paradox, right?
Oh, you mean besides the paradox we were sitting in at the moment that, oh, by the way, you know when they tried to destroy the Another Geo Ride Watch this week? Guess what happened?
What?
It broke and then reformed. I hate this show. I vehemently hate this show now. 26 episodes. We get rid of most of the second half of the Heisei era. And now we decide that, oh, we're going to have paradoxes where the Another Riders and the proper Riders exist at the same time. So we can have team-ups and stuff. Fuck off. Quite literally fuck off. I don't care anymore. I went from, actually no, I don't care anymore. I am so full of hate and anger right now that I literally don't want anything to do with this show anymore.
Can't say that I blame you.
Yeah. And people defend this show, by the way. People like this show. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, why too?
I don't.
Good.
It's not good on any level. Any level. Even this week when we were going through the form change stuff to take out all the Another Riders, it was pretty much just swap to that form, punch them a couple times, pop the finisher. Not even in any real like flashy cool way. It didn't feel as exciting as I've seen that kind of thing before. It also doesn't help that these guys were just literal punching bags. And they existed for all of, like, 2 episodes total. And also, we don't get a knockdown drag-out fight with Another Geo. It's, oh, he goes, they transform, they fight each other for a half second, and then he goes to do a move, and then Geo 2 goes, oh right, I have fucking, like, see the future ability. Oh, Gates, you might want to go over there and attack him when he tries to attack me. Oh, look, he knocked you in there. Up, I guess I'm gonna hit you with the big sword attack now. Up, you're dead. Goodbye. That was the fight. This show sucks. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But I guess, and brighter things to talk about. Tommy, what have you been playing these last couple weeks?
I outside of Daggerhood, not really much.
Continuing to chip away at the times.
That and try to go ahead and finish progression through the game.
The only real thing I've played is Tetris 99 or more that I do every now and again, and I get pissed off and angry when I get garbage to hell. I've gotten 3rd place now. 3rd place!
Nice.
You know who I lost to?
Who?
A couple of Japanese players.
That's not bad, though.
I'm cracking the top 20s now a bit consistently, depending on if I get super hard targeted. And also, I've noticed a really annoying thing now that some people are doing.
What?
They're swapping on and off targeting a specific person. As I've had several people do that to me, and it is the most obnoxious thing in the world. That they'll be attacking you, and then they won't attack you. But then they'll attack you again, but then they won't attack you.
Mm.
I'm starting to think, because I saw Smite talk about it on Twitter, that the targeting system is kind of screwy with how it works, and it can really fuck you if you're not super careful or like super aggressive. I think I'd have to pull up his Twitter. But yeah, I want to get a win because I feel like I can get a win. I can win at Tetris 99. I just need to not get garbage to hell by everyone else. I need to play like people closer to my skill level instead of fucking Tetris Grandmasters, apparently, that'll just dump like 6 Tetrises on me in a row, which, to be fair, I dumped 3 Tetrises in a row on somebody and still didn't get a kill.
Oh,
3
wow.
Tetrises in a row. 0 kills. I supremely dunked on somebody's head and got nothing out of it, which is obnoxious. Let's see, other than that, finally got back to Valkyria Chronicles 4, and it's been nice to go back to that game. And surprisingly not be frustrated while playing it, because it is a game well, you know Valkyria Chronicles, right?
Yeah.
It's for those that don't know, it's a kind of like a tactical RPG with a third-person shooter mechanics in it for movement and combat. It's this weird cross-section of genres, but it really works, and I love it. But it does the thing that if a unit dies, quote-unquote, and essentially it loses its HP, they essentially get knocked out for a few turns, and if you don't like have one of your units come up to them and have them evac'd out, or you evac them out with an order, they're dead permanently. So even if you fuck up on a death, you won't lose the unit, which is cool. That there's at least a little bit of leeway, because God, does this need a little bit of leeway, because if you're not careful, you will get yourself screwed so hard if you're not careful. Not really anything else. I've just been playing mobile games I have. I do have a dumb thing related to Sonic Heroes.
Oh, God.
Did you know that the teams we got in Sonic Heroes were not the originally planned teams? So, there are, instead of 4 teams, there are 6 teams. One of those teams is the same as we got in the original game. Care to guess which one?
Team Sonic?
Yes, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were the same across both versions, or carried over. The second team, though, it is a mix of 2 members from one team and 1 member from another team. You want to take a guess on that one?
Honestly, wouldn't know right offhand.
Actually, no, there are 2 teams that carried over. The second team, care to guess what the second team is that carried over?
Is it one I would think or not?
Well, you have a 1 out of 3 chance of getting it right because there's only 3 teams left.
Yeah, but I mean, is it one of them I would figure would be or not?
Probably not.
In that case, I would have to probably say Team Rose.
Nope.
Well, good.
Nope. 50-50 now.
Team Chaotix.
Yes! Team Chaotix carried over! So now you know that Team Dark and Team Rose were chopped up and split across other teams. Would you care to guess what the second team is comprised of?
Well, you said 2 of one and 1 of another.
Uh-huh.
Like, I super want to say Amy, Big, and E102, was it? I can't remember which robot that one was.
E102 Gamma.
I'm wanting to say them 3 just because.
Nope. You're close. That's a different team.
Then
Take one person
know.
out and add in a random villain, and you have another team. Amy's on a different team.
Another actual villain, or kind of like more
Actual
anti-hero
villain.
standpoint?
Actual villain.
I don't know then.
Well, this first team, they all have one thing in common.
Okay, who?
Amy, Cream, and Rouge. AKA all female characters.
I wouldn't consider Rouge a villain, though.
That's not the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gamma and Big on a team plus a villain.
Who?
Chaos.
I have no words for that.
Yes, Chaos, Gamma, and Big. It's what?
I mean, I could maybe see if it was removed Big and Shadow in his place.
Here's the thing. Shadow is not on this list anywhere. Shadow is dead, according to this game, apparently.
Huh.
Yep, there is no Shadow. We still have 2 more teams. I'm not going to make you guess this 5th team because I have no idea who these people are. Fang, Bean, and Bark.
I don't actually know right offhand either.
Wait, are these 3? Or is it that 3 from that one Sonic Mania boss? Yes, they are. You know those 3 people that one boss turns into?
Oh, them.
Yep, those guys.
That I think actually was a throwback to something. But I can't
Sonic
remember what.
Sonic the Fighters? No.
Maybe.
No, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. I think. No, not quite. Different name, but that same character. You know, yeah, Sonic the Fighters. Okay. One last team. 2 more Sonic Mania Connection characters, plus a villain.
Well, seeing as how there's not too many, would it happen to be playable characters?
Yes.
Well, then Mighty and Ray.
Yep. Now the villain.
Who would even be left?
I was about to say, who do we have left as villains in Sonic in general at this point?
Who?
Metal Sonic. Essentially, I would assume this is Team Clones, because this sounds like a clone of the Sonic Tails Knuckles team.
Well, to be fair, Sonic Heroes is a game of clones.
Very true. But yeah, those are all 6 original teams that they were going to put in Sonic Heroes. Before, I guess they went, okay, we can't put Chaos and Metal Sonic on a team, and who's going to remember these other 5 characters? So they're all out. And I guess they decided to swap Big and Rouge. And since they took out Chaos, we're like, fuck it, put Shadow in there. At least that's my assumption. But this information came from the Sonic Wiki that sourced it from one of the developers for Sonic Heroes when he talked about it on Twitter. So there's your official source for that. But that's just pretty much all I got. I do have a dumb idea for countermeasures for a raid if we ever get raided.
Okay.
Do you remember that PS1 game, Incredible Crisis, that John streamed a while back?
Not right offhand, no.
Yuan? That sound effect? Probably doesn't help.
No.
Anyway, it's a dumb PS1 game that I was thinking of cutting a couple of cutscenes together from the first level and overlaying the respective emotes and stuff that would need to be there, and that would be the countermeasures video. Never done something like that, but fuck it, might as well. It can be one more thing I can add to my resume that has nothing to do with my degree.
I mean, could be worse.
Trying to be an engineer, all I really got background-wise is a lot of video editing and podcasting backgrounds. Anyway, ready to talk about news?
I guess so.
Alright, we're going to kick things off with the Nintendo Indie Direct. Because we had a couple cool things shown off.
Or the Nindy Direct.
Yep. We're just gonna go down the list. This is not the order they were shown in. I think this is almost kind of the reverse order of what they were shown in. I think. I know this was last, because this was the big surprise. But we're getting a Krypton the Necrodancer spin-off called Cadence of Hyrule that is essentially, hey, you can play Krypton the Necrodancer with Zelda characters. Which, I swear to God, the girl you see in that picture, I thought it was the girl from Iconoclast. Because it's a very similar color palette. Then I'm like, oh hey, the girl from Iconoclast. It did not occur to me that I'm like, oh, this is Krypton Necrodancer. Oh, right. Burp. But that is coming this spring.
Although,
Cuphead is also...
I do want to mention before we move too far.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this sprite for Link would have worked better for the Link's Awakening game than what we got?
Well, to be fair, it is an older style Link. Just like that is a simplified version of the Zelda that's in Smash.
Well, to be fair, they both are kind of more pulling from the Link Between Worlds sprites.
Yeah.
So that could be the other reason why I'm kind of more favoring it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's coming this spring. Cuphead is getting ported to the Switch, and it's coming out next month, actually, like less than a month away, April 18th.
Possibly with Xbox Live for other consoles?
They're not working on that at the moment. They confirmed at Game Developers Conference that that is not a priority at the moment, but it's not being worked on now. So don't expect it now.
I thought that was Game Pass they said that on.
Was it Game Pass?
I'm thinking it was Game Pass.
I might have just caught the headline that said Xbox Live in general, but apparently it's Game Pass? Okay.
Because I know the one I saw, there was... I forgot what the guy was, but he was something in that aspect of it, and he said right now Microsoft doesn't have plans for Game Pass going to all. So, I mean, I'm kind of at that mixed opinion of let's put Xbox Live on everything anyhow.
Yeah, because they're putting it on Android soon. So I know that's confirmed.
Well, the reason I'm kind of against it is because then that causes competition on all consoles.
Pretty much.
Because, case in point, if it comes to the Switch, do you buy an Xbox Live subscription or a Nintendo Online subscription? And the other question is, do you have to have a Nintendo Online subscription to be able to use the features that Xbox Live would have?
Yeah, that complicates matters greatly.
It's like, please explain, and then maybe I will think this is fine.
Yeah. I do know that apparently you'll be able to earn achievements if you're playing this version of Cuphead.
I mean, if they do it in the fashion that PC's done, where it's technically a standalone, I think it would benefit.
Yeah. I think the creators mentioned that there's going to be a few extra things in here, like little small surprises, I assume like Nintendo-centric surprises.
Well, isn't this technically considered a remaster, not a re-release?
I don't know if you would call it a remaster.
I feel like I saw someone say that somewhere.
I thought this was just the game tuned up a little bit, like not like a true remaster, but more like a, hey, we tuned up the game a little bit, kind of patch wise, and that's kind of what you're getting.
I mean, that might be all it is boiling down to, but I'm wanting to say I saw someone refer to it as a remaster.
Yeah, I would not call this a remaster because the game came out this gen. It came out last year. I know we love slapping the remaster title on things, but you need more than a year to call something a remaster.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a remaster from an Xbox One game to a Switch? Question mark, anyone? Like, that one should be a red flag because, you know, remasters usually improve off of the specs that it had at release. The Switch is below spec for both Xbox One and PS4, so...
And PC in general, which this is also a PC game technically.
Well, PC never gets counted. Especially when it's in a multi-platform release like that, even though it is only 2.
Yeah.
It's typically benchmarked off of the console, so yeah. That's why I was kind of ignoring PC.
Mm-hmm.
We
also
PC people kind of mod stuff to make it run better than it should.
Got access to those INI files. We also got another trailer for Stranger Things 3, the game, which, for those confused, this is simply a Genesis-style game based on Stranger Things Season 3 that comes out July 4th, along with this game. And I think you're supposed to play this game while after or like in conjunction with watching the season, because this apparently will dive deeper into Season 3 of Stranger Things. So consider this like a tie-in to that, I guess. I thought this was a joke when they announced it at the Game Awards. I thought this was just their way of announcing Season 3 of Stranger Things. Not, oh, by the way, this is a real game, by the way. We also got Red Lantern, which is a roguelike survival game.
Because we don't have enough of them.
But you're competing in the Alaskan Iditarod. Which, for those wondering what that is, it's what's the word I'm looking for? A race with you and your team of dogs? Mushers? A musher race? That feels wrong. You can be.
I think that might be the best explanation.
Yeah. Essentially, if you watch Balto, which showing my age there, going, anyone remember Balto? Oh my god. Yeah, if you think Balto, think that, but like randomized events, kind of, because that's like the closest thing I can come up with in terms of here's a piece of media that covers something similar to this, because I don't think anything else really touches the Alaskan Iditarod, the Alaskan Iditarod race. Except for maybe this movie that isn't 100% wholly true to the true story it's trying to tell to start with. By the way. Yeah, you can apparently be killed by a bear or a bird or whatever. So look forward to that. It's coming this year. Rad is coming from Double Fine, and shit. I don't know who dropped in the Doc stream, but somebody Doc knows is actually working on this. he dropped in while the trailer was playing, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm working on this," because he he works at Bandai and they're assisting with this game, and he said it was pretty cool. But it's a post-apocalyptic, like, adventure-style game where you can just get random mutations, just give you different random powers and stuff. So if you want to be a flaming, flying Ghost Rider with, like, tree legs, as the thumbnail in the video shows, yeah, you can do that. But that's coming this summer. Katana Zero, which kind of reminded me of like a side-scrolling Hotline Miami kind of. With a focus on like fast-paced combat action and you trying to like perfect your movements and perfect your combat technique as you go from room to room to room. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. And that's coming at the beginning of release date, April 18th. And that's coming from Devolver, by the way. We are also getting Nuclear Throne on the Switch. It's getting ported over. Super Crate Box is coming in April. I don't remember this game. Oh, I think it's like a puzzle game, kind of. I don't remember this one from the Direct. We're also getting Valmbri Arcade with Ultra Bugs. Let's see, My Friend Pedro, which is... You have a friend... I don't remember this. I don't remember this one. This is the bad thing about trying to find a recap article that has at least images of everything, so everything kind of clicks back of like, oh god, what was this? Since you kind of just get stuff back to back to back at these directs. 2.5D shooter game. It seems like it's like a 2.5D version of like Super Hot, kind of. You'll get the same kind of style of action of Super Hot, but like a different art style, which looks pretty cool. The Dungeon Crawler Creature in the Well, Blaster Master Zero 2, which is a new game, which is a sequel to the 3DS remake of the original Blaster Master Zero. We also have Pine, which didn't look that impressive and looked kind of bad. Bloodroots, which is a top-down action game. Overland, a squad-based survival game. Darkwood is a survival horror game. Neocab, which essentially has you playing as the last person who's running an actual taxi. Instead of just robot Ubers, like you're an actual human taxi driver in a city where you're the only human taxi driver, and you're essentially just talking to people as you do their fares and all sorts of story stuff from there. It seemed kind of neat as a visual novel style game of, oh, sit down to this, play a story, see where it turns out. And finally, we got Swim Sanity, which is a side-scrolling multiplayer shooter with underwater. Look like a kind of like Mario Party style, like mini games, where you're competing against other people, kind of co-oping, competitive sometimes. It looked all right, and that was it. So, what'd you think? Did you actually get to see it live?
Nope.
Wow. I actually forgot about this because I saw it saw an article saying, "Oh, by the way, we're getting the Nintendo Direct," and I'm like, "Cool, I probably won't watch it." And then I was in Doc's stream because he was doing one of his marathon streams, and oh right, he was going to watch Direct, so I guess I'm watching Direct with him. So I watched the Direct through his stream. But I remembered this, especially since I was at a Target where there was Labo stuff being sold, and I'm like, oh right, I forgot about this. You know how Nintendo was wanting to get in the VR recently?
Yep.
How about the cheapest VR headset you can possibly buy? I can almost guarantee that. Almost.
Wrong answer.
It's not? What is the price tag on this anyway? Okay, $80 for the kit, but you still need a Switch. I guess that's what makes it more expensive.
Well, with the kit, you are getting the game too.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd have to say 20. So still
What is the cheapest? Oh,
because you can get like the VR headsets for phones.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty much like one of those VR phone headset things.
Yeah.
I forgot about those.
Meaning it would probably be more on comparison to that. I mean, granted, it's still a step in that direction, so maybe other developers will look into something like that. Especially since there is an official Nintendo VR headset now.
Yes, made out of cardboard, where you just stick the Switch in there.
All I'm meaning is if you know it can be done that way, then you can also make your own VR headsets to kind of ship with your VR game.
Yeah. Using that high quality cardboard.
I mean, could be worse.
Yeah, we're looking at an April 12th release date for all this VR cardboard nonsense. So, yay! Good. Now time to talk about the fucking elephant in the room.
I mean, there again, this comes more down to the fact of what are they going to be using as their tech show off. Because let's be honest, as far as stuff Nintendo's released, 1-2 Switch was the Switch's tech demo.
As long as it's not F-Zero or Star Fox, I think we'll be fine. As long as it's not an established property that has been on the shelf for a few years.
It's under the Labo title, so it wouldn't be.
Good.
I mean, that's kind of just the thing. With all the Labo stuff, it's all been generic fill in the blank here game.
Yeah. Well, shall we talk about the elephant in the room?
It's only an elephant because you're wanting it to be an elephant.
Well, it's an elephant because, oh boy, has this not gone well for anyone else who's tried. Like, no one else has really succeeded at this. Granted, it's Google, but
from what I've seen firsthand, in comparison to what I've heard about past attempts at this, they've got the best shot.
Yeah. And I will say, it doesn't help that was the most boring 1 hour, like, E3-esque presentation I've ever fucking watched. Oh my god, how many times they had to talk about they were the ones that did the Odyssey streaming stuff, or they reiterated the same like 4 or 5 points. Like, that was a terrible way of presenting all of this off the bat.
So
it was not the best
Microsoft
first impression. Oh, they super hard Microsoft it.
So then at that point, I don't hold them at any more of a fault than we ever have Microsoft at E3.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
just saying, apparently what's happened is someone at Google has decided to sit down and watch every Microsoft E3 press conference and said, let's do exactly that.
Like, they announced, like, they came up, like, they had someone from id come up and announce that I believe both Doom and Doom Eternal are coming to this.
Oh, Doom's coming to it also?
I know Doom Eternal, but I don't know if they're lumping in the original Doom as well.
Now, if they're lumping in the original Doom, then what I might be more willing to do would be to set up a way to where I can do a side-by-side comparison. Because I actually have a PC copy of Doom.
Because I believe that's what people have demoed off of this service, is original Doom. Well, not original Doom.
Original remake Doom.
Yes, original remake Doom from whatever year it came out in. I don't remember the year offhand. 16?
Maybe? I was wanting to say either 16 or 17.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what people got the demo at GDC. And a very kind of closed, not the best representation of how this is going to be for anyone else.
Okay, but
environment.
I do want to mention this, and I saw an article that actually stated this, and it had a valid point. The fact that Google was confident enough to use this as, in a demo sense, off of a hotel Wi-Fi, kind of says a lot for the service.
Yeah.
Because if it can handle running pretty decent off of one Wi-Fi, but 2 public Wi-Fi, then the service has a solid ground.
Yeah. You have to get into the question of data caps. Like, how good of your internet does this need to be? Your personal internet doesn't need to be for this to run.
Honestly. And this is the truth on this part of it. I would venture to say any cable internet is safe. DSL might be a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
But anything really 60 megs down and 5 up or better, you'll never even notice it. So, I don't know the full benchmarks. I know what was happening when I was testing Odyssey, so.
Yeah. And also input latency, especially for Doom, because I would hope you don't have really bad input latency for Doom.
I didn't notice any input latency with Odyssey. I don't know if Chrome might buffer the game to compensate for that. That might be what happens.
Well, Odyssey is not as much of a like a twitchy, like you want like low latency with Odyssey. I feel like Doom, you want that low latency.
I don't know, because sometimes in the combat you do kind of want it to be on point.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice any kind of hiccups at all. It seemed like if I had told the controller to tell it something, it did it.
Let's see what else they show off. We got to look at the Stadia controller, which has 2 new buttons. Technically 1 new button, because it has a share button, which should surprise no one. Fucking every modern controller has a share button.
Yeah.
But it has a fucking tech support button where you can fucking like text in to the Google Stadia helpline to help you out of your problem, whether you're stuck on a puzzle or something, and they will pull up a YouTube video of that point that you're stuck on, so you like can get out of it, or to help you get out of it, which sounds like the dumbest idea in the fucking world. Like, I get you're trying to, you want Stadia to be integrated into YouTube because you own YouTube, but this is like the dumbest way to integrate it into YouTube. The other YouTube integration sounded better. Because what the other like feature was, you could pull up somebody's stream, and if they were playing a supported game, which the only game they showed that was supported was NBA 2K19, you could click the play with them button and essentially be queued into like the next game and be dropped into their lobby. And also you can, it's not directly YouTube related, but you can also share your state. So like you can like make a save state and you can share that with other people, which sounds like the best idea you could have possibly had in this is that. Yeah. And I don't know why you didn't emphasize that more, because I was listening to Giant Bomb talk about this, and you know what they brought up would be really good for this?
What?
Demos. This save state feature, that's a demo. That is you going, hey, here is our current build of the game. You can play this save state for like 30 minutes to an hour.
If they can cap it that way.
Right. But even still, like, here is a save state of a level of a game. Here you go, play it. And also, apparently, if you watch a trailer on YouTube, you can also hit a play now button on that trailer and you can immediately play the game, which is what they did for Odyssey. But no talk about monetization. No real big talk about what is available on the system, or not system, on the network, I guess would be the more appropriate term for it. But apparently Bethesda, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Q Games, and Tinkerly Works are all on this. So I guess you get to play Skyrim.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah.
Yeah. You'll get to play Skyrim.
Holy crap. We are getting that one more step closer to having Skyrim on everything.
Yeah. Too bad you won't be able to mod it, so it will be a lesser version of Skyrim.
Unless Bethesda does the unique thing of possibly setting up a build to where you could install user-side mods.
How would that work?
Basically, since the way the system's set up, it would fall into the save settings.
Okay.
Because that's the thing. Odyssey's saves wasn't global. It still was user-based. Meaning you're probably only running an instance off of it. I would have to think there would be a way to work that into it.
Yeah. Google does have their own studio, Stadia, Games and Entertainment, that will be producing games for the platform. But no games were shown off. The only things original to them were tech demo-esque things, like some 3-person split screen setup that didn't look that impressive, and also on the dev side showing a level that you could easily change out the textures for. They changed out the one for like a Pac-Man level, or they applied a Pac-Man level texture to everything, and it looked awful because it just repeated the same texture on every surface. And it looked awful when they did that. It looked better when they were doing anything else but Pac-Man.
I do want to say there's one thing that I have some question marks for: the cross-platform play. And
no real
being
talk
able
about
to migrate saves from pre-existing platforms, as this article points out.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that during the press conference. I guess that was a post-conference interview tidbit.
I mean, cross-platform play, okay. That's fine. That more than likely means that it'll be very probable we'll see Fortnite on it.
Of course.
The whole migrating saves from pre-existing platforms, I'm like,
Are you pulling that one off? Are you going to give us a thing that's able to rip saves off our consoles and allow you to jam it into our computers and be recognizable?
Well, okay. All 3 major consoles have a cloud backup for the saves.
True.
It wouldn't be surprising if you couldn't find a way to get them to something else. But the question is, how is Google gonna get all 3 of them to play nice?
They won't.
Exactly. 2 of the 3, yeah, they will. PlayStation, no.
Sony, no, you'll twist their arm for years to get that one to pull off.
And even then, they still might not be able to, because, you might only get partial. Yeah, looking at the Fortnite fiasco.
Yeah, no talks about cost, but apparently a source says that this is going to be a Netflix-like subscription, not a marketplace like Steam, meaning, hey, you can probably play a game for 6 months until somebody gets mad about their sales and they take it down. So there goes you playing that game.
I don't think that would actually happen as much, though. It depends on where the price point is.
Yeah.
Because you look, if you get people that are only playing a handful of games from one developer or one publisher or stuff like that, and say the subscription point is $30 a month. If they're only playing from that one company, that means every month that $30 goes straight to them.
Yeah.
It might actually benefit them.
Also, it's another thing that Giant Bomb Crew talked about. How much will it cost the developer to put their game on this platform? How much do they have to pay rack wise in that server room? Depending on the game.
That would be the next question.
Yeah, because they were trying to entice devs, because they kept mentioning 1,000-player battle royale, and a hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please, somebody makes that game for our platform, because, as I said, the Doom Eternal stuff was a title screen, and that was it. The only footage I've seen is like cam footage somebody set up of Doom running at an angle that didn't give it the best look. The only other thing we saw running on this platform was Odyssey. And assumingly those tech demos, but those were video footage and not live demos in any kind of reasonable way. So once more, why are you showing it off so bad?
I think because I feel like it's probably because it's still too early, and they might have handled the beta the wrong way.
That I believe again.
It's one of those. Yeah, Project Stream was meant to test, really to stress test Odyssey running off of this system.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
Yeah.
What they should have done is they should have tried to tell everyone to try to record video of the game playing so that they could use it for promotional reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not make it mandatory, but kind of maybe give an incentive for it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you send 30 minutes of gameplay for us to use for promotional reasons, we'll give you a month free or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of get some kind of backbone for it. Because I know what they were expecting. They were expecting everyone to be streaming it and putting videos on YouTube and all of that fun stuff.
Yep.
Except for here's the problem. The ones that would be doing that would know how to handle it, and you would never know the difference between it running on Project Stream or it being a PC copy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those, I feel like they should have had some kind of carrot at the end of a rope, like, hey, do this for us.
Oh, by the way, the controller is Wi-Fi connected. Although multiple controllers are supported, or like any, I guess, USB connected controller is supported, the Stadia controller is it's Wi-Fi connected. Which sounds
It does, but it don't, because of the fact of the way I would have to think it would be set up then is it has to balance the ping for the game back to the player and the controller to the game.
Yeah.
Meaning it might try to buffer the game enough. I don't know. I used my Pro controller with my Bluetooth USB adapter and it worked fine. I don't think their controller is going to be anything that's going to benefit off of it personally.
They also mentioned that Stadia runs at 10.7 GPU teraflops compared to the Xbox One X's 6 and the PlayStation 4's 4.2. Don't mention a PlayStation 4 Pro, apparently. Thanks. And Doom Eternal will apparently run at 4K 60 FPS, and they're in the future going to support 8K in 120 frames per second. I didn't know 8K was a thing.
I'm sure 16K is a thing.
I thought everyone was on the 4K train. I didn't know we already hopped over to 8K.
Yeah, everyone's still oohing and ahhing over 4K because it's not industry standard yet.
Indubitably.
1080p is still industry standard right now, which is funny.
Also, can we all have a collective vote to not use the word teraflops ever again?
Nope.
That is asking for karma to kick you in the dick. I'm sorry, it is. I'm sorry. You are using the word flop next to your thing. You're asking karma to kick you in the nuts for some reason. Any reason. Yeah, that's really it for Stadia. Like, again, on your point with they had to do this, or they had to stream this, and it's too early. That's exactly what Giant Bomb thought. That this was only supposed to be 2 people who were attending GDC, aka only industry personnel were supposed to see this, but it would leak anyway. So they did stream it, and it's too early.
Yeah. Like, I feel like they didn't have enough backbone to try to release it as a service, but at the same time, they didn't know how to go about doing that without taking a chance of it getting leaked. So we got kind of stuck in that whole, we're in the age of the internet leaks everything. And Google knows the internet leaks everything. So, screw it, let's just go with it and hope for the best.
Take the bad first impression, and hope they make up the ground lost on that front. I assume during E3 week, because they'll probably talk about this at E3 or around E3.
I hope we at least get pricing before then.
Oh, we need a price point, like, now. That is, I think, the number one question for anyone coming out of that is price. Now,
not necessarily. Once all the developers that are interested in it have piped in and they can all agree on a nice round number, then. So, like, I would be willing to give them... I'd honestly be willing to give them till probably close to E3 time, but we should definitely know before E3. That way then E3 comes in and it's, look what we've got on our system now.
Look what you can play, look how good it performs. We promise it will perform. Like Giant Bomb had the perfect idea of live stream some schmuck in the middle of Iowa on like a lower end internet connection and show, hey, this is how it runs.
Or
literally do that. Mm-hmm.
Or the other thing, you could try to set up, like, figure up how low you can go with it. And try to show off like a group of computers all connected to the same router running this system.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, most routers, and go a step further, make it all off of Wi-Fi. Make like 5 of them all Wi-Fi connected to the same access point and show it off that way. Because if it can run at that kind of speeds, chances are most people are going to be able to use it.
And also, don't show Odyssey off, please. We already know Odyssey works on it.
No.
Show something else, for God's sake. Like, get Doom in there.
That's what I was fixing to say. If they want to really wow people, sure, show Odyssey off, because you might grab some Assassin's Creed fans that don't know about it. It might be one of those that people will be like, okay, Ubisoft's looking into that. I might look into that for the next Assassin's Creed game. But don't make that a focus. Make games like Doom or anything new that they might have at that point.
Anything new and anything that would especially be like, you would want this at low latency. Oh, look, our platform runs it at low latency. Like, and if you want to be real big show-offs, have a side-by-side comparison of play this on a platform or play this on a computer that is installed here. Now come over here 2 steps over and play this on Stadia. Literally have that comparison right there so people can go, oh shit, this does run pretty good. Any other qualms I have about this is just the possibility of, oh look, you don't own your games anymore.
But, okay. I get back to I kind of made this counter argument at the beginning when we first were talking about it, but it is a subscription based. And it's being treated as a service, not as a marketplace. So, do you expect to own everything on Netflix?
No, but
do you expect to
I don't want this to be the only thing.
Given time?
Yeah. I don't want this to be the only way to play games.
Unfortunately, you might just have to get around that.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft is trying to push this way. If Google shows that this actually will work, this might become the new norm. At least, at the very least, PC side of it.
Yeah. Because, oh look, you don't own your games anymore. Oh look, this game doesn't sell well anymore, or something happened. Oh look, this game's gone. And oh look, no one kept a copy of it anywhere, so it's gone forever.
I feel like the only time that would probably become a thing, because like I said, I would have to think they would be making money as long as anyone plays the game. Especially if it's a monthly subscription thing.
Yeah.
So I would have to think about the only way we would probably lose stuff like that is if the developer just went out of business or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And that's that question of, at that point, what happens to it?
Mm-hmm. Like, what happens to all of Telltale's stuff since they are technically out of business? Even though the rest of the final season of The Walking Dead is coming out.
I mean, that would be the point where that question would get raised.
Mm-hmm. Well, away from that very large box that, like, that conversation of rights of ownership of products and stuff is like a huge box, and especially with all digital, that becomes a yeah. But in better news, I guess, Sony has decided to copy Nintendo, and they're doing their own direct style thing called State of Play. Our first one is actually tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for me, the 25th at 5 o'clock. And you can see it on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube. So, are you excited? I was about to say, you don't own a PlayStation 4, so there's a lot there that you're probably not going to be interested in at all unless it's a cross-platform thing.
So most of it, because let's be honest, how much has Sony and Microsoft both had unique to their console?
Well,
like this generation's been horrible for that.
Yeah. I mean, I know one thing that won't be there because of what's already been announced, and don't worry, I remember we were going to talk about it. It's later because there's unfortunately not much to talk about. You can see it listed on the right. It's that first one on the right. I assume if it's the same order I see on for me, it's that first one on the right in the popular section.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess Days Gone, maybe Death Stranding, God help us, Last of Us 2, so we can finally be like, all right, this game is legitimately coming out now. Ghost of Tsushima, but that's like all their E3 highlights, and I don't know, I would think smaller stuff as well. Maybe a release date for Critical Mode for KH3, since it's soon, quote unquote soon. And it keeps being soon.
Maybe, but we get back to that whole, it's not a console exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the issue. And I don't knock Sony for it because Microsoft's in the same boat. It's bad when the Switch is younger than both of them and has like easily double the exclusives.
But it doesn't help that I feel like they've kind of become an indie box.
Which,
like,
that's it's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it's a bad thing because it almost feels like the eShop's getting oversaturated
with no good real way to sort through it.
Yeah.
Nintendo,
like,
make your eShop.
Almost like Nintendo wanted to let indie developers in, but at the same time they didn't realize all indie developers were coming in. It's like they had a door that was just shut for the indie developers, and they thought they could crack it, but no. Nope. Once they cracked
everybody
it,
gets in.
Everyone shoved at once. Because what I'm sure you noticed, early in the Switch's life, yeah, there was some indie titles, but not that many.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like you can filter through hundreds of indie titles. And it's like, maybe we oversaturated that.
Probably.
One of those, what's the point in having a console for indie games when there's thousands of indie games?
Mm-hmm. Well, in slightly more interesting news, the next Sonic game is in development. And by the way, you remember those Sonic Mania cartoons?
Yeah.
We're getting Sonic Racing cartoons. Well, the two-parter. The first one is adorable because it's Robotnik fucking with a race by getting big to come to a stall of Froggy goodies, like a Froggy t-shirt and stuff, and he crashes a race in the process. And also, by the way, if you like that shirt, you can buy that shirt. Sega's selling that shirt to you right now. And, oh yeah, they showed off customization for Team Sonic Racing. Which I think pretty much looks like, stick any bit of any car on any car and stick any wheels you want on any car. And you can swap horns and stuff and paint.
Huh.
So pretty much just like, all right, here's a car. Here's everything you can slap on that car. Here's everything you can swap out around on that car. Do whatever you want. We don't care. But that was neat and cool. Man, I just mainly went through in there for, hey, new Sonic games in development. Probably be better than the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that's coming out.
And you know what? This might have some promise. Like, I don't remember that course right offhand, but apparently they're bringing back a course from Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
That would not surprise me.
Was actually a decent game.
Yeah. Yeah, both the Sonic and All-Stars Racing games I think were pretty good, from what I've heard. Also, if you didn't hear, I knocked on wood pretty hard saying that. But last up, you remember Castle Crashers, right?
Yep.
Well, the remaster of it is coming to PlayStation 4 and Switch. With all DLC included.
Also, another time of adding remastered to the title.
Yep.
The only difference is this one actually has a generation jump.
Yep. And they also talked about making a sequel, which apparently is not right now.
You know, I just thought of something, though.
What?
I get Castle Crashers is playable on the Xbox One.
Uh-huh.
Why didn't they go ahead and do a remastered version for it also? Oh. Okay, never mind. I looked at the article. I thought the Castle Crashers on Xbox One was the 360 version. It's not. Okay. Never mind. Article cleared that up.
Also, please ignore the duplicate date on the list of releases with nothing under it. I don't know if I forgot to put something in.
That actually looks cool.
What?
Do you see what the PS4 version of Castle Crashers is going to add?
Oh yeah, the light up light.
That looks cool.
That is pretty standard. Like, I'm not surprised they're doing that because since I own a PlayStation 4, I have a PlayStation 4 controller. When I plug it in and use, and like, I can change the color of the light through DS4. Like, I have a specific shade of blue I have my controller as when I plug it in and play with it on PC. Because it recognizes that. Yeah, that said, like, it's not really taken that much account for, but like, yeah, the PlayStation 4 has that. Like, they have a real wide range of lights that you can light up on the back. It's just, most companies don't take advantage of that. Just like, by the way, there's a speaker in the controller too. I was reminded of that when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh right, there's a speaker here. Because there's a moment in the game where you get talked to through that speaker.
That's weird.
I know. It's only for like a hot second, but it's there. That's it. Shall we talk releases?
I guess we shall.
Yep. Alright.
Hold on a second. Apparently
What?
I got logged out of the site, so I get all kinds of fun, stupid stuff. Okay. Fixed.
All right, picking it up on the 25th, we have Invention Years for the Switch. And on the 26th, I'm gonna take a drink before I start this list since it's the longest list. Because everything's coming out this Tuesday, apparently. So we have Air Complex Collection for Switch. What?
I was gonna say Tuesday. So a lot of Switch titles too. Because that seems to be the recurring theme. But then it looks like maybe not really.
More Thursday for them, but this is kind of a mixed bag for Switch. I think Thursday's the eShop digital update day.
I thought it was Tuesdays.
I
I don't either.
All I know is most everything on Switch is coming out Thursday.
It might be Thursday then.
But yeah, like I was saying, Air Complex Collection for Switch, Danganronpa Trilogy for PlayStation 4, Dragon Marked for Death for Switch, Final Fantasy VII for Xbox One and Switch, Final Fantasy 15 Episode Arden for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Galaxy The Void Deluxe Edition for Switch, Gems of War for Switch, Generation Zero for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, MLB Night The Show 19 for PlayStation 4, Nero, Nothing Ever Remains Obscure for Switch, Nelki and the Legendary Alchemist Altiers of the New World for PlayStation 4 and Switch, OMG Zombies for Switch, Outward for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Power Rangers Battle of the Grid or Battle for the Grid on Xbox One. That, by the way, is an enhanced version of the mobile game apparently, with like less characters than the mobile game has right now.
Huh.
I see news about it because it floats around Token Nation and stuff, news about Battle for the Grid. Unfortunately, it didn't look that good, to be honest. Some of it looks really bad. And I am like, yeah, if I didn't know this was a mobile game already, I would have assumed this was a mobile game to start with. Because some of that texture work, not good. We also got Space Junkies for PlayStation 4, The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, Decisive Edition for PlayStation 4, Princess Guide for PlayStation 4 and Switch, The Walking Dead Telltale Series, The Final Season, Episode 4, Take Us Back for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, and Xenon Racer for Xbox One and Switch. On the 27th, we have Alien Cruise for Xbox One, Neon Canvas for Switch, and Windscape for Xbox One. On the 28th, we have Fun Animal Pack for Switch, Gods Remastered for Switch, Gwent the Witcher card game, Crimson Curse expansion, I assume, for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Inferno Climber Reborn for Switch, Istanbul the Digital Edition for Switch, Lyrica for Switch, She Remembered Caterpillars for Switch, The World Next Door for Switch, Ultra Wings for Switch, and War Party for Switch. On the 29th, we have American Ninja Warrior Challenge for PlayStation 4, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Axiom Verge Multiverse Edition for Wii U. Yes, we are still getting Wii U releases.
Wii U's not dead, really?
Apparently. Also, if I counted international releases, we would still be talking about Vita. But there is no outside of like. For America, no. Elsewhere, yes, there's still Vita games coming out. We also got Bomb Chicken for PlayStation 4 and Switch. John streamed this like a couple months ago, I believe.
I don't think I
it's
saw
kind of
it.
It's a puzzle platformer where you're a chicken that poops out bombs. And you gotta use that to solve platforming puzzles.
Huh.
It looked very weird, but it looked kind of good. We also have Legendary 11 for PlayStation 4, Operencia, The Stolen Sun for Xbox One, and Yoshi's Crafted World for Switch. On the 31st, Desperados 3 for Xbox One, and starting the April releases on April Fool's Day itself, Darkest Hunter for Switch. And on the 2nd, we have Angry Force Reloaded for Xbox One and Switch, Bomber Crew Complete Edition for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Darksiders War Master Edition for Switch, Bar Lone Sails for Xbox One, Spellkeeper for Switch, and Sword and Fairy 6 for PlayStation 4. On the 4th, Overwhelm for Switch, and on the 5th, Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission for Switch, and yet another Zombie Defense HD for Switch. And that is it, which brings us to our quick draws. And remember when I said last night that we would be talking about the Persona 5 R announcement since it was happening this morning?
Yeah.
Well, we got that. So do you want the short version or the long version?
Either.
Well, that's technically a trick question because they're both the exact same length.
Ah.
Because what we got was a 45-second trailer that I can summarize in half that time. So the gist of this is, and I'll start by saying why it came out today is because the last OVA or the last special episode, which was about an hour long, I believe, for the Persona 5 anime called Stars and R's, which covers the last 2 dungeons of the game in a very rushed fashion and wasn't that good, which is about the best way you can describe the entire Persona 5 anime at this point. Might be taking you through that for TGS reviews at some point to see how you feel about that. But yeah. At the end of that, we had the release of this trailer that announces Persona 5 The Royal, which assumingly is an enhanced version of Persona 5 a la Persona 3 FES for the original Persona 3. Excuse me. And Persona 4 Golden for the original Persona 4. This is coming to PlayStation 4. No sign of a Switch version, so I guess we're not getting a Persona game on Switch. Assumingly.
At least not right yet.
Probably. But the trailer essentially consisted of a shot of, I believe it's Shibuya. We have a female character from Shujin Academy, which is the high school in the game that your character attends. I assume being interviewed by a character and asking what are her thoughts about the Phantom Thieves, aka your party. And she goes on to have the quote you can see in the article. Now, what does this mean? It can mean a lot of things. And whatever it is, we won't find out because we won't get more information until April 24th. Is when we'll get more information about Persona 5 The Royal. So, for all intents and purposes, this was an announcement of an announcement. Thanks, Atlas. Thanks.
Well,
Also, no shadow drop.
You needed an announcement for the announcement.
Now, for those wondering what this could all mean in terms of this female character who has long red hair and red eyes, 2 main ideas come to mind. And both of them are based off the previous enhanced versions we've gotten. One is this is a female main character. Essentially, instead of playing the male character, or the male version, you're playing the female version of the main character for this Persona 5 version. You'll have the option between the two, just like in Persona 3, or Persona 3 Portable, technically, not Persona 3 FES, the PSP version of Persona 3 we got. Or this is a new character that you can have a social link with that will have her own story that will play out alongside the story you know from Persona 5. a la what happened in Persona 4 Golden. Which one is it? I have no idea. It doesn't help that this same question and this kind of response is the exact, I believe, kind of mirrors a response you can give in the game when you are asked the same question at a event in the game. So it can swing that way, but also I have a funny feeling that the fact that they zoom in on her eyes and her eyes are a bit on the red side of like a certain popular character from Persona 5, Akechi, makes me believe that maybe she might be a new character connected to him. Especially since she doesn't seem to really want to associate herself with the Phantom Thieves, and she kind of like downplays them. So I don't know. It's up in the air, and we probably won't find out anything really concrete until the 24th, assuming Atlas decides to give us concrete information on the 24th.
Otherwise, this will be an announcement of an announcement of an announcement.
Pretty much. I'm going to be very honest. I am curious about this, but as someone who has put 200 hours into Persona 5, beaten it twice, and platinumed it, I need some pretty significant changes in content into this revised version of Persona 5. Or for you to just give me the option to download a $20 DLC patch that just gives me all of the content, since I own Persona 5 on PlayStation 4, for me to be interested.
But I mean, you don't want to buy the game again?
No. Like, literally just give me the option to just download the patch and let me just update Persona 5 to the Persona 5 Royal Edition. That's a thing you can do in this day and age.
Nah. It's gotta be a brand new game.
Like, the only reason this happened before, when those were new versions, is because Persona 3 FES came out on the PlayStation 2 era. Persona 3 Portable came out on the PSP. And Persona 4 Golden came out on the Vita. Which tells you how many people were able to play Persona 4 Golden to start with. Yeah, I'm hopeful. Honestly, at this point, I'm more excited for Joker coming to Smash, which should be happening within a month.
Should be
Be happening with the 3.0 update. But we haven't heard nor hide nor hair of that one, so guess we're waiting on that one. But that does it for mine. Tommy, what is yours?
Well, mine is going to take a second while I get it all switched over, so. But mine goes out to WoW. Okay, I might change it then. Hold on. That did not do what I wanted it to do, so let's do it this way, and that might work. Question mark. Better. I can deal with that. But mine goes out to the Super Mario Odyssey any percent moon randomizer that I have done. It's currently in a beta state, aka I don't know if everything will still hold up true, and some moons might have to be cut. Looking at you, Seaside, for having like over triple, almost quadruple the amount of moons needed. But effectively, what I've done is took the any percent route, and any moons that you can get without having to get additional story moons is added into this. So what that basically means is, like, in Metro, for instance, you don't have to do the sewer story moon, which leads into the festival. And it's literally everything, including getting the 4 musicians. Obviously, some kingdoms, looking at you, Ruined, only have the one because, you know, that's kind of the only thing you can do. There's literally only 4 moons that you can get in Ruined, and 3 of those is the boss fight. So, yeah. But, like that, trying to think right offhand. I think Bowser's Kingdom might have been the next biggest one for the lack of randomized moons. I'm wanting to say there was like 17 of them or something, and you only have to get 2. So that might be another one that I might be looking to trim. But essentially, I'm not ruling a moon out because it's a long moon. If I rule any moons out, it's going to be because they're going to be way too long.
Yeah.
Like, if they're just in a sub-area, that's not going to rule them out. If it's in a sub-area and you got to do 5 minutes of platforming to get to said moon, yeah, it's probably going to get cut. Like, it's going to be that kind of ridiculousness. But the beta is complete there. There will be a link in the articles list that you can go to download it. I currently have releases for Linux and Windows. I'm thinking about doing a web one, like a web-based one. If I do, I'll add that link to the article list. Either way, it'll be on GitHub if I do that. But yeah, and the main reason I marked it as a beta is I'm going to go in and actually liven it up a bit. It's not just going to be black text on white background. It's just, this is, I want to make sure it works, and then I'll go into playing with it. I do believe the idea is I'm going to try to do a test one tomorrow to see if I immediately find anything. The goal is I'm going to try to hope that these stay under 2 hours kind of deal. AKA that might be the other criteria of me trying to cut some of them. But yeah, and I believe too we're planning on both of us doing this next Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any feedback would be helpful. Feel free to hop in our Discord and yell at me and be like, you screwed this up. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I think that takes care of it for mine. As I forgot to change the bottom when we transitioned over.
Yeah. I pulled up donation forms just to skim through to see if anyone posted the thing that's in our chat. And I saw a screenshot from the preview that had Blade and Chalice in it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's the Blade Jack form helmet. Go back through the preview, see that Blade has his normal helmet that doesn't have the gold covering on it, or the gold like underlay on it. And an earlier shot, which makes me very confused about why they keep swapping back and forth between the regular Blade helmet and the Jack form Blade helmet. Because it's extremely obvious they're there, because the normal Blade helmet is silver on the inside of the face part, whereas the Jack Form 1 is gold, and a very bright gold at that. So it becomes extremely noticeable when, like, they swap between the two. And also, I see someone in here saying that, oh, it's the reason that Blade and Chalice are still fighting and they're still technically undead is because the Ride Watch, the Another Ride Watch, does not like significantly alter their histories. It only alters it by so much.
But how much is so much?
I don't know because the show isn't consistent about that.
Uh-huh.
It's like with fucking Clock Up in Kabuto, where I feel like they are inconsistent about how fast Clock Up is in relation to normal time. Which is a very annoying point for me of like, I feel like Clock Up has a variation on it. Sometimes it's this fast. Sometimes it's this fast. But yeah, I just... God. Geo sucks. Really does. I just do not understand how you can just fuck up a show this bad. Also, thank you, Twitter, for reminding me that we got a trailer for the Dora the Explorer movie. Live action movie, mind you. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's an actual thing. Yes, it also kind of looks low budget as fuck. And not that good. It's probably as good as that Legends of the Hidden Temple movie that came out. By the way, that was also a thing a while back. Yeah, that'll do it for us this next week. I'll do the things that we were supposed to do this week, but I didn't feel like it because stuff came up and I wasn't in the mood to stream. Anything specific you're doing?
At least the Odyssey rando, I don't know about anything else right offhand.
Alright. But I guess that'll do it for us. Tune into, I guess, our usual stuff. And we'll see you then, folks.